as I said at the end of the last video, I had to break episode 3 into episodes 3 and 4, so welcome back to Let's Play X-Men Legends. And yeah, this is episode 4. Due to the way episode 3 ended, I'm going to have to start you off with Jean Grey's bio. Not a big problem, it's actually a lot shorter than Cyclops', so here you go. See you all there.
My turn.
Jean Grey, born Jean Grey, obviously, was born, I think, around Hudson, New York, or something like that. Sorry if I don't have more information on that. Her powers, which are telepathy and telekinesis, were born when her best friend Annie Richardson was hit by a car, and she experienced Annie's emotions as she died. Now, this led Jean to withdraw into herself and gave her some problems with her mutant powers. Now, eventually she would consult with Charles Xavier, who would help her get control of her powers, and eventually he would use her to help calibrate Cerebro. Now, at some point in this, she would touch the mind of Scott Summers. I don't know much more about that. But Professor X tacked on some psychic blocks to help her control her powers. Now, eventually, of course, she would join the X-Men and become the lover of Scott Summers, who is Cyclops. You already know about him, and would eventually marry him after dying and getting cloned. Two clones, actually, now that I think about it. One was Madeline Pryor, and the other was a clone formed by the Phoenix. Yeah, when she died, she touched the Phoenix, and I honestly don't know much about that. The clone turned evil and tried to kill the world. I really wish they'd touch upon that in the game. But, yeah. That clone wound up committing suicide or something like that, I'm not sure. And Jean would eventually return to the X-Men. Over time, as you might know, she doesn't actually use a nickname, or a codename. Over time, she's had, quite a few. She started as Marvel Girl, pardon me, would eventually go on as Phoenix, Dark Phoenix, Lady Grey for a time when she was mind-tricked into joining the Hellfire Club. And I've seen some records that she went by Miss Psyche, but I'm not entirely certain of that. But lately, most recently, she became the White Phoenix of the Crown and merged with the Phoenix Force, and at this point in time is pretty much a virtual non-entity in the comics. Other than that, I can't say much of what else is going on here with her. I'm afraid there's phone rings. There's just not much else I can say on her. Now, in-game, she's of course one of our playable mutants. She's actually pretty useful. She's got a decent set of powers. We'll get more into that when we look at her power set. And she can be used to build bridges and... Actually, yeah, build bridges and environmental terrain, which you'll see when we do Stage 2. Let me think. Yeah, that's actually about it. Early on, they kind of force you out of using her in favor of Iceman, who I'll get to in a bit. Yeah. But that aside, she's actually is a really good character. I wind up using her a lot later on. But for now, or at least I probably will. I can't say for sure off the top of my head. I might change things up a bit more to make things interesting for you guys. But I probably will, in fact. Anyways, but yeah, she's pretty good. In the game, she's voiced by, let me check my notes, Leigh Allen Baker, and she first appeared in X-Men #1. Alright, let's take a look at her powers. Okay, Jean's skills, as you can see when I'm doing this, when she's got some experience, it's been a bit since I've actually been able to get in here and look at this. Jean's stats, as you can see, very high focus. That's going to stay consistent for her. Her skills, telekinesis, throws enemies and objects about. It's actually not that useful. Psychic Shout is actually really helpful. You'll see me use that one a lot. Telekinetic Shield is another one you'll see me use a fair bit. Um, Phoenix Force is, of course, something we'll get to later, along with those grayed out. Sonic Strike adds mental damage to her melee attacks. Another skill you'll see me put some points in. Telekinetic Combat increases damage to all mental attacks. I think this works in conjunction with Psionic Strike, so another one you'll see me put some points in. Toughness, Mutant Mastery, you know the drill. Flight lets her fly. You'll see me put a lot of points into this one. It's probably the first of her skills I'll max out. Critical Strike is very meh, as per usual. Flight, Telekinetic Combat, and Psionic Strike are all skills you'll see me put a lot of points into. Probably either Toughness or Mutant Mastery. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, that's Jean Grey's skills, so let's move on back to the game. Alright, hopefully y'all found that entertaining and educational. Let's talk to Jean Grey really quick.
Did you have a question, Allison?
This house is too cool. Who owns it?
The Xavier Mansion is owned by Professor Charles Xavier. Once it was his family's estate, but he had bigger plans.
Looks as if it hasn't changed since it was first built.
Oh, it's had quite a bit of remodeling over the years, but we're very fussy about keeping things as close to the original design as possible.
Later on, you'll see some of that remodeling.
This place is huge. What kind of things are here?
The mansion has dormitories for the students, a swimming pool, a library, and a huge lawn should you feel the need to stretch your legs.
Who's Professor Xavier?
Professor Xavier, or Professor X as some call him, is the founder of the X-Men, but perhaps more importantly, he's a teacher.
What subject does he teach?
Humanities. He's trying to help mutants and non-mutants learn that they can live together peacefully.
So, Professor Xavier's a mutant too?
Oh yes. He's the most powerful telepath alive.
Alright.
Thanks. I'll ask again if I need more info.
Let's explore this room a little bit. This is Professor Xavier's study.
Hello, Allison.
I'd like Jean to show me around.
It would be...
Once you're done...
Lead the way.
That was handy. Here we can look at the bios for the X-Men. These are kind of like the bios I gave earlier. Yeah. They're kind of neat. Like that, I probably could just read off those from my own bios, but oh well.
Institute, Allison.
This place is huge. What is it?
This is the Xavier Institute, a school where mutants learn to control their abilities, as well as discovering more about themselves and their place in the world.
A school for mutants? I didn't know there was such a thing.
The fact that the students are mutants is kept secret for everyone's protection. In addition to being a school, the mansion is also home to the X-Men.
Cool. I've heard of the X-Men.
Yeah, you're not gonna see me talk very much hear me talk very much for the rest of this video, unfortunately. That's because there's a lot of info dumping by Jean Grey for this bit.
What room is this?
The library is one of the most popular rooms in the house. There's a wide variety of literature here, from Shakespeare to comic books. It's an interesting mishmash of styles, kind of like the X-Men.
Who are you?
My name is Jean Grey, and I've been an X-Man most of my life.
And yet,
Today, in New York City, were you talking to people with your thoughts?
Yes. My mutant abilities deal with telepathy and telekinesis.
and yet she still can't be asked to get herself a code name.
You're a mutant?
Yes, I am.
Or at least stick with
You'd be
one.
hard put to find someone around here who isn't.
I didn't think there were many people like me.
Our numbers are growing, and it's nothing to be ashamed of, Allison. Even though there are a few people who would like you to be.
You're telepathic?
I have the ability to read minds and communicate mentally.
And telekinesis means you can lift stuff with your thoughts, right?
Exactly. I've grown quite powerful at it over the years, but I doubt I'll ever master it.
Thanks for the info.
Alright. Now that that particular info dump is over, oh, it's somewhere in here. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in here. What the hell? I could have sworn... Aha! Now here's where you can review the comics you've picked up. Oh, yeah. The comics added to your collection give you some bonuses for the character, therefore. In Wolverine's case, let's take a quick look at. Very nice. +2 to striking and agility. Damn! Oh, man, I forgot to... Okay. Anyways, let's pop that open.
Classes are held here, Monday through Friday. The students receive a full curriculum in math, history, physics, and a wide variety of other topics.
Yes, you do still have to learn about the regular classes.
Did you have a...
Yeah, see, that's...
Thanks.
I did that just to show you that that Jean Grey's dialogue doesn't change from room to room. Now, a quick bit that I always found kind of freaking hilarious is that she's still wearing her uniform in the mansion. As you play through the game, you notice that none of these guys ever change out of their uniforms. It's ridiculous.
It's a sitting room. It's a great place to kick back and relax. Needless to say, this room doesn't get a lot of use by the X-Men.
I'll bet. Now, I'm sorry, I just don't think those outfits are that comfortable to relax in.
This door takes you to the backyard. A little later, you'll have to go out and see the swimming pool.
Yeah, we can't go out to the backyard. We will see that later on, but right now it's closed off. Let's pop over here.
This is the day room. It's beautiful, isn't it? There are times I find it hard to believe there's a high-tech underground level beneath this grand old mansion.
An underground level?
Oh, yes. But I'll leave that part of the tour to Professor Xavier.
Yeah, we'll get to the underground level here in a bit. Actually, I might leave that off till next episode. Here you can review all the cinematics you've got. But that's easier to do from the main menu where you'll see them all anyways. Plus, you'll be able to see the logos if you're that invested. Dinner time.
Believe it or not, we do take the time to sit down every once in a while and have a meal together. Just like any other family.
I can't picture any of the X-Men actually cooking a meal.
You haven't lived till you've tasted Pete's barbecue or Betsy's Cornish hen.
And you won't meet either of those characters for a while. Anyways. Itchy nose. Yeah. I wonder what she got stuck on. Anyways. Let's head this way. Itchy head. Yeah, this is just a staircase. We're actually going to pop up there. This and this actually are secret elevators to the sub-basement. We'll get there in a minute. Let's pop over here.
This door leads to the front lawn where there's a beautiful fountain. You can go see it in a little while. It's a great place to sit and read or write.
Really? My two favorite things are reading romance novels and writing in my diary.
I can see we're two of a kind. Later on, we'll have to get together and swap books.
Okay, yeah, we can't go to the front lawn either. In fact, it'll be a while before we can go to the front lawn. Oh, one last thing down here. Move! Phoenix!
This is the first floor elevator. From here, you can go to the second floor, or the sub-basement.
I'll skip it for now. In an old house like this, I bet it's just full of cobwebs.
You'd think that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you'll probably hear me accidentally refer to Jean Grey as Phoenix quite a bit, because I always like that codename for her. Ah! Get out of my way!
The second floor of the mansion has bedrooms for many of the X-Men. Feel free to wander around and look in the rooms. This is the second floor elevator. From here, you can go to the first floor, or the sub-basement. Did you...
Okay, yeah. She doesn't change anything.
I'll ask again if I need more info.
Yeah, as you can see, we already got the elevator. That just tells you what things can be interacted with. We can't go... There's nothing said, move, Jean Grey, special about the chair, so let's just go peek into everyone's bedrooms. Night.
This room belongs to Scott Summers. You met him in New York, the guy with the optic blasts. He was the very first X-Man, and he's the team leader.
Oh yeah, I remember him. He's kinda cute.
And he's kinda spoken for.
Oh, I didn't mean to.
I'm just teasing, Allison. Scott and I have been together forever. I'm lucky to have him.
Yeah, really quick, there are a few things we can examine in here. I can't examine that picture, or... I think all we can examine is Scott's picture of Jean. Which you can't even freaking see anything on. He's got a very boring... Move! Very boring bed and a couple pictures of cars, and a random dumbbell, and... You can't even use those in here! What are you doing, Cyclops? Someone needs to take over his fitness workout. Let's pop in here.
This is my bedroom. I've lived here off and on since I was a teenager. The X-Mansion is pretty much the only real home I've ever known.
Got a couple picture of roses. That's not across the top of the image. She's got a teddy bear. And yeah, that's all we can do here. On we go.
This is your room, Allison. If you want it. I bet you'd find the mansion a great place to learn about your abilities.
I'm not sure if I want to learn about them. After what happened in New York, maybe it'd be best if I never use them again.
But Allison, if you don't learn to control your abilities now, they could wind up causing far more damage later on.
I suppose you're right. Still, I don't know.
Well, that would be a little jarring. I don't think there's anything we can really do in here. Oh. And there's a bit of information off for Allison's backstory. Let's pop in here.
This is Hank McCoy's room. We call him Beast, but not as an insult. You'll find out why when you meet him. To look at him, you'd never guess he was such a bookworm.
Yeah, we will meet Beast. Nothing in here, I think, except for his chalkboard. Need more chalk. Yeah, you would. Yeah, there's nothing in here. Nice trophy. It's sticking through the ceiling. Ah. Let's see. Nothing of note in here, I think, except camera. Except over here where you can review load screens. This is what I use to get the bio pictures. You can also do that at the main menu, much like you can in the comics. Like, not the inventory menu, not the inventory menu, but the menu in the, like where you pick to choose a new game. You know what I mean. The main menu. In here.
This is Rogue's room. You'll like her. She's a bit of a wild child.
She tends to get into trouble.
Well, Rogue did a few questionable things before joining the X-Men, but she's proven herself to be an invaluable member of our team.
If you don't mind me asking, what can she do?
It's a bit complicated, but her power deals with direct skin contact, which is why she always wears gloves.
I don't think there's actually anything you can examine in Rogue's room. Okay, on we go. I'm just gonna leave that door open because I'm a complete arse, apparently.
Aurora Monroe lives here. Her mutant abilities allow her to control the weather, which comes in handy with her favorite pastime, gardening.
Aurora. What a pretty name.
Her code name is Storm. She takes over as leader of the X-Men if Scott Summers isn't around.
Got a couple things in here. Nice tribal mask. Lots of plants. Room would be murder on my allergies. Huh. Apparently sending a letter to Fortune. I think that black thing is part of her very first outfit. I can't say for sure.
Bobby Drake stays here. His code name is Iceman.
Let me guess. He makes ice.
He can freeze almost any object instantly. I'd keep an eye on him if I were you. He's a real charmer.
He does need watching. Don't think you can interact with anything in here. Move! Yeah, you can't interact with anything in here. Dude needs to pick up his freaking laundry, though. Okay. Aha! Only 2 bedrooms left.
This room belongs to the ultimate man of mystery, Wolverine. Although he's a bit rough around the edges, Wolvie's the best friend you could ever want, and the worst enemy you could possibly imagine.
And the most popular character in comics. Yep, that's, I told you about Alpha Flight and his bio. You don't see them in this game, though. They are important in the sequel, which I will eventually cover.
This is the home of Peter Rasputin. He's pure Russian, from the top of his crew cut to the bottom of his size 18 feet. You'd never believe a body of steel could house such a gentle heart.
Colossus is awesome. Very nice. He's an artist. And in here is where you can review concept art. We don't have any, but, you know. Since I actually showed Wolverine's comic off in this, I probably won't show it. Yeah, I'll just show them off in the comic section down there, now that I think about it. Okay, in here we can play a bit of a trivia game. I'll show you some of these really quick. I do believe Rogue got together with Magneto for a bit. You can get 6 experience for each of these. I am horrible at some of these, obviously. Cyclops, obviously. Ugh. Alright, I'm only going to do 5 of these, so that's 4. Gateway. And this is 5. Yeah, by the way, Allison will eventually join the X-Men and will gain the code name Magma. Yeah, I'm not even going to try hiding that spoiler because, hey, that game is not subtle at all. Oh, shit, I need to do a bio on her. I'll do that next episode, because I've already done 2 this episode. I should have thought about that. I keep forgetting her. I'll cover her skills and I'll do her level up when I go to cover her skills, which I will do in the beginning of the next episode. So, really quick, I'm just going to end this episode off here. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. In the next episode, we will wrap up this tour of the X-Mansion. Thank you, and good night, folks.